Alrighty, welcome to HukTV. It's been a bit of a long break. I've been playing a bit of StarCraft 2, playing some online poker, losing money. Yeah, losing money, that sucks. But you know, it's a good game. Anyway, yeah, fuck. I just hope to plan on making a lot of money playing poker in the future, but it's like anything, you can't expect to be Jesus at it, you know, the day that you start. So I figure I've got to lose a bit of money before I can make some money, and it's all a learning process. A little bit like Counter-Strike, actually. Alrighty, so someone left a comment on my YouTube channel the other day when we talked about the other tutorial videos, and they were asking about throwing nades. So I just wanted to show you guys a way that you can practice throwing nades, and I'll just give you a few pointers with what to sort of aim for and like what to think about when you're throwing nades. And then basically once you understand these concepts, you can go into a server or a game and you'll be like, right, okay, well, I should throw it here because it makes a lot of sense based on what I now know. So it's really easy, and it's just something that you should do on a regular basis. Throw nades around in the server just to get a feel for it, and that way a lot of the time when you do need to nade someone or throw a flash or whatever, you don't need to think about it. You don't have to have like a set one where you just like stand in a corner and line up your fucking left pinky with the third dragon next to the unicorn or something like that. You can just simply just move around as you need it, just throw it, and it's going to work out a lot better and a lot quicker, a lot more fluid as well.
Go!
Now, one of the things I do to make my life a lot easier is I turn cheats on at the start, and I've got some buttons bound on my keyboard, so that'll just give me nades. This one's giving me a HE, flash, and a smoke. I think I've got, yeah, just one flash. But you can set yourself a bind up to give you like mollies and whatever. I'll leave in the description the bindings for it. I sort of like half can't be bothered, but that's just me being lazy. It's so easy to Google it, so do that. Be good, Google how to bind nades, and you can just put it in your config or something like that. Alright, do that. And for the rest of you that want to be a pain in the ass, I will still leave it in the description anyway.
Deploying flashbang.
Alright, so the first thing that I wanted to say about throwing nades is one mistake that I see a lot. It's really like simple, but from short to A, it's when there's a guy on the ramp and you're in the site. The reason why it's such a big one that I wanted to cover is because it's a mistake that usually happens in very clutch rounds. Like, for example, you're retaking, you're the B player, it's a 1v3 or something like that. Now odds are not in your favor in a 1v3, especially if you're coming up short anyway. Not that it's a bad way to go about it, but it's just that it's a lot easier for three people to defend against one. It's like, think of it like this: you've got 300 HP versus 100 HP. Automatically the guy on 300 HP has more of an advantage than the person on 100 HP. But not only that, the person on 300 HP is split up into three different people who can all be looking at you from different angles and doing things that one person cannot possibly do. So having numbers is by far more of an advantage than having someone on more HP. Alright, so this nade thing, we might have a guy on the ramp, and most of the time they're sort of sitting around here, like wherever, but my main point is that if they're close to this wall trying to shoot you, a lot of people will do this kind of nade. And I'll throw it like, I'll exaggerate it, they'll just kind of go like that. Whoops. Okay, so that was probably not going to do much besides maybe tickle him a little bit. He might have felt the shockwave or something. But yeah, it's a shit nade. So that just sort of involves like, yeah, it looks like the right, it looks like the right angle and stuff, but I move forward a little bit when I throw it, and people will do that just out of habit. But let's think about a couple of things, right? Alright, so he's here. Where do I not want the grenade to go?
Grenade out.
Oops, actually that's not too bad. But yeah, obviously like where it landed back here, that's a pretty bad place for it to land. These are pretty bad spots for it to land as well, because if he's behind the wall, that's not going to do any damage. So ideally, what's the easiest way that we can throw a grenade with the most consistency that over hundreds and hundreds of rounds in games of Counter-Strike, what's the easiest way that we can do it without making the least mistakes? Well, I think we probably want to have it so that it kind of slowly glides over and just kind of drops around about maybe here, like sort of in the air above this box kind of thing. Like you just want it to sort of drop and explode right above here, and that way it doesn't matter if you're standing here, or even crouching behind the box or something like that. It's gonna fuck them up. They're gonna be fucked up. All right, so to do that, I might just actually do something like.
Fire in the hole.
Okay, now see the difference. It lands, it explodes in line with the wall. Let's even try and do something different. So if you go too low, like saying bounce it off that
Grenade
box. Oh, okay, that worked. All right, well, fuck. Look, I could do that. I could try that every time, but I'm gonna make a mistake, and I'm gonna throw it too low, miss the box, or throw it. You know, it's gonna bounce, hit the wall, and land in the side. So that wouldn't be a good way of throwing that nade or it wouldn't be that great to learn practicing that because you're gonna make mistakes in situations, like I said before, clutch situations where you can't afford to be making those mistakes. So you need to make. What the fuck do I have decoy?
Decoy's out.
I got another decoy.
Deploying decoy.
Alright, so the easiest way to do it is just simply come out,
Grenade.
do that, and that hurts. That hurts everyone. Alright, let's do some other ones. So with things like pop flashes, you really just need to go, like, just trial and error. Like, I'm going to do some, I don't even know if this works. Let's see how we go with this. I'm going to get myself a rifle, just to make it look more legit. Oops, I don't want that one. Okay, sort of with this one. Just to make it look more legit, you can do, I don't know, even if you think it's something like that. I don't know, it didn't blind me, so some of the things that I would think about in that situation would be, alright, so if you're going to come around this corner and throw a grenade, you sort of need to be quite confident that they're not attempting to creep up and they're not going to peek you as you're pulling the grenade out, because if you throw a grenade at the wrong time, it'll get you killed and you won't get a kill. It's just a big fuck up sometimes. So sometimes the key to throwing good nades is knowing when not to throw them. That is very important, actually. Just a quick story, in Sydney Underground we used to play overseas in LA at the Championship World Gaming Series, big games when I used to get paid big bucks for playing in the source scene. We used to play in the practice rooms against all the best teams in the world at this time. So in those games we did quite well against most of them. There were only, I think, a couple of teams like Complexity and it was Venom. I think, who were they? Yeah, like a couple of teams we just couldn't beat them. They were too good. But most of the other teams we would get games off them and stuff like that. And we would actually play against them sometimes, like SF Optics, Carolina Core, like all the top American teams at the time, the European teams. And we just decided that for the whole war that we weren't going to throw any grenades that war, and it did make those games harder because you know it is an advantage having the nades. But basically, what it taught us as a team is it teaches everyone when they really need grenades, when they really need the flashbangs, when they really need the smokes, and it will teach you when not to throw them, because a lot of people will throw them, and if you actually think about it and you analyze it. Based on your experience, maybe even if you watch the replay and look at what happened, you'll notice that a lot of grenades are a fucking waste. Like, they're completely pointless. Another thing as well is that sometimes people will throw grenades, and I like to just call it source nades, because everyone in Counter-Strike Source would be in 1v2 situations, 1v1s and shit like that, and they'll just be in like a good spot. Now, I don't know if this is just something that they didn't really realize at the time. It probably was, but I knew that the other person on the other team, like the enemy team, didn't know where that person was at that time. I was fairly certain, and so they just throw a volley of grenades out just to sort of like, oh, okay, well, I've got them, I may as well use them, kind of thing. Like, and just start tossing grenades and like smokes and shit like that, and then it wouldn't be to any gain. It would just be pointless nades. It wouldn't do anything. If it was to delay the retake, it's going to delay them by about half a second, because the other person will turn around and just turn back. That was an accident shooting, by the way. Like, it's not really going to do much. So a lot of the time, throwing good nades is knowing when not to throw them. Also having to think about where you want it to land, and also learning how to throw grenades in a way that you'll make the least amount of mistakes over 100 games. So you need to think of it over a long period, is throwing a grenade like this going to be consistent? If it's not, then what you need to do is don't scrap it. You should go into a server with no bots, kind of like this, and you should just practice it like for ages until you get it down pat, and then just keep doing it. So I'll give you an example. In Source, you used to be able to throw a grenade, a flashbang, to hit like a wall, like an angle here. I think it might still work here. I think I got to bounce it off something in between there, and it will go straight up and not blind me. So I'll just
Deploying flashbang.
that's not it.
Flashbang.
It's not it either. I don't know if it's possible in this version.
Decoy.
Okay, no. Right, so little things like that. What used to happen is you'd hit the nade there, or maybe it's here. I don't know. They've done something to it. In Source, you used to be able to throw it when you're retaking, so that
Decoy.
so what happens is it just bounces up above here, so that you don't get blinded by
Counter-terrorists win.
blinded by your own flash when you're retaking. I don't know. Maybe this works.
Throwing flashbang.
Well, that works. Alright, so I'm going to use that. You know, if I'm retaking, I'll be wary of people looking down at me from up
We're
there, so if
wasting
I throw
time.
that
Let's
flash,
go.
it's going to give me enough time to run out and turn around. I might catch someone out of position, and then I can continue the retake. So yeah, that's basically it. I hope you got something out of this. Hit subscribe if you like the video. Also, if you want to see some stuff in here that you want help with, maybe even personal coaching, I do personal coaching, just hit me up with a message or leave a comment, something like that. Alright, peace out. See you later.